Hey folks, great you're watching again and welcome to this English summary. Well, today we went to Renes diesel service with the fuel system of our BMP, the fuel pump and the injectors. Well, I made this coupling to fit on the drive shaft. So this could be can be interesting to see if it if it works. Okay. Well, at first we have been busy with assembling the fuel pump onto the testing bench, which was quite a challenge, because this type of pump is it's an odd one. It's like two line pumps, but they are as boxer shape, so that's not a standard design, and also not something that Renes sees a lot, and therefore they don't have the exact fittings for the test bench. But with a little bit of puzzling we succeeded, and we could test the pump. At first we want to check the timing, and for checking the timing they feed testing liquid to the pump. It's not diesel, I say testing liquid, because if you test a fuel pump with diesel and you put it on the shelf for a long period, the pump can get stuck. So therefore they use another type of liquid, which also burns in the diesel engine, so you can fit the pump with this testing liquid onto your engine and start it up, and you won't notice anything. But the thing is, it keeps working if you store it for a long period. So they feed this liquid to the pump, and the return lines are plugged, so they can build pressure on the injector gallery. I'm not sure if that's the English word for it, but that's where the plungers are, and where the fuel is fed to the plungers. Okay. Well, then they build up pressure, and the fuel lines, the fuel ports, the exit ports, which go to the injectors, those are opened, and the idea is they feed the fuel pressure through the pressure valves, the non-return valves, and they start dripping. At that moment they will rotate the pump, and for diesel for this diesel system it works like this. You have the plunger which moves up, and there are flow ports from where the fuel is fed into the cylinder of the plunger. So the plunger moves up, and at some moment it closes this hole which feeds the fuel. So what happens, as soon as it closes it starts pumping diesel toward the injector. So that's the moment the injection starts. So that you can check this timing. So now how does it work? When the plunger is down, the fuel is fed through the flow port to the check valve toward the injector, where you see it dripping. So if the fuel is dripping from there, the plunger is not pressing any fuel away. So then you're rotating the fuel pump, and at the moment the plunger passes the flow port, the dripping stops, and that's the moment the injection starts. So they rotate it, they notice at what moment and what degrees the injector stops dripping. That's the moment of injection. Well, we didn't succeed to test this, because the yeah, the non-return valves, they have some pressure, it's a setting, and this pressure setting is higher than the test bench. So it's a pretty weird construction. That's, well, something special for this BMP. Well, then we thought about what we should do. The check valves are, well, accessible from the outside, pretty easy. But the thing is, if we open them up, we don't know the setting and we cannot test this. We cannot, if we disassemble it, the setting is gone and we can't get it right anymore. On the other hand, there is no clue to think that the timing on this pump would be offset, because that's a strange thing to happen. The camshafts looked good, so we agreed on not checking the timing for this pump because we were afraid to get this pressure offset. Okay, we're good. Then we start working on the amount of fuel delivered by all the plungers. Therefore, the valves are closed on the test injectors, and at that moment the pumps start rotating, and the fuel amount delivered by the injectors is measured, and it is visible on the display. So you see wat zijn balkjes?
Wat?
Wat zijn balkjes?
Vals.
What?
Ja,
Beams? Beam! I'm not sure. Anyway, you see the green pillars, things, and they start rising, and that's the amount of fuel delivered by the separate injectors. And then at a certain moment you see two dotted lines, and this is the tolerance where the amount of fuel, delivered fuel, should be in between. So it's pretty clear which ones exceed this or are below the wanted amount of fuel. This is checked by various RPMs, and also with the throttle in different positions. And it turns out the pump is pretty good, so that's a nice thing. A little bit of adjusting for making it even better, but it was good already, so there was nothing to worry about. So that's a good thing. Let me see. I think we didn't do any further explanation on the fuel pump. Owen? No, I think that's it. Okay, well, good for the pump. What about the injectors? Of course, we tested the injectors in our workshop, and we noticed that the pressure was low on them. It should be 250 bar, but that was around 230. But that's normal, because the spring which regulates the pressure, it will become tired after quite a while, and you have to put a little bit more of tension on it, and then this is solved. So that's normal. But there was another issue, and that is that the injector has a nozzle. The nozzle has small atomizer holes from which the fuel is sprayed. What we saw was that on all of these injectors were several of these atomizer holes clogged. There was even one which had only one which was spraying fuel, so that was not good at all. We tried to solve this by putting them in brake fluid, cleaning them in our cleaning washer thing. We put them in all kinds of solvent. I even tried to heat one with the burner. But yeah, we don't have this ultrasonic cleaning device, but of course Rennes has it, and they have a really good one. They put the injectors in there, and after testing, it turns out that 4 of them are, well, pretty good. Only the pressure is a little bit low on them, of course. And there is one which is really bad. It's spraying from only one atomizer hole, and there is another one which also missing a few holes. But only by putting them in this ultrasonic cleaning device, well, that repaired 4 of them, so that's a good score. I think we didn't any. Well, I think there's nothing more left to tell about that. Well, of course, Klaas, he's working at Rennes. He's the owner of the place. Together with his father. I'm not sure if he's the owner of the father. I'm not sure, but it's his company anyway. And well, he think he can repair this injector, so he's going to try it. He said if he was for working on these injectors for industrial client, of course, then they would just look up which kind of nozzle they would need and then replace it. But for our project, he said he could fix it. They have special tools with the small wires to pinch the nozzles. Well, and probably that would do the job. So I hope to get a message from him soon that he has managed to save all of these injectors, and then the fuel system is fine. So that's I think that's a good thing. Oh yes, there was one more thing. Klaas explained a lot about the injectors and what is important about them. Of course, the pressure is important, but also this spray pattern is really important. Because if you have an injector which is clogged, so there are only a few jets of fuel spraying, you will get an excessive amount of fuel on one side of your cylinder, and this can destroy your engine. It is possible. It's possible that you get a really nasty combustion on one side, and this can damage your cylinder wall. So therefore it's really important to check the injectors. Then he explained a lot about the injector nozzle and about the pattern. Of course, you have the atomizer holes, so there is an amount of holes, and there is also the size of it is noted on the injector tip. But also the angle in which the atomizer holes are orientated. So the angle tells about the spray pattern of the cone which is formed by these different jets of fuel. Okay, I think that's about it. So I would say thank you for watching and see you next time.